Hi, I'm Jared. Welcome to Fun Science Demos. In other videos, we talked about simple machines and how simple machines make our work easier. Today, we're going to talk about another simple machine called the pulley. And that's a pulley right there. So let's take a look at our setup. I have a 1,000-gram weight and I have a spring scale. And if I attach my spring scale to my weight and lift it straight up, it's going to weigh 1,000 grams. We can zoom in and take a closer look to see that it weighs 1,000 grams. So our spring scale showed us that this 1,000-gram weight is really 1,000 grams. But we said that simple machines make our work easier. We also said that this pulley is a simple machine. So how do we show you that this pulley makes our work easier? Well, we're going to thread this rope through our pulley, attach it to our weight, and attach the other end to our spring scale. And now we can see if our simple machine, our pulley, really does make work easier. So now it's time to see our pulley in action. I'm going to pull down on the spring scale, and when I pull down, the weight should go up, and we're going to see if this pulley has made our work easier by taking a closer look at our spring scale. Here we go. I pull down, the weight goes up, and now we're going to zoom in and take a closer look at our spring scale to see if our pulley is making our work easier. So our weight is off the ground, and when we look at our spring scale, it's just at about 1,000 grams. But wait a second, that really hasn't made our work that much easier. So let's change this setup and use this pulley differently to see how it works. To do that, I'm going to take the pulley off, the scale off, and the weight off. And I'm going to attach the pulley to my weight. Now I'm going to run my rope or my string through and attach my rope to a fixed point above the weight, and then attach my spring scale. It kind of looks like I reversed the whole thing around. Instead of the pulley being up top, the pulley's now at the bottom. And we're going to try and lift this weight with the pulley at the bottom and see what happens on our spring scale. We're going to zoom in and take a closer look so you can see if our work really is made easier by using our pulley differently. Right now our spring scale is reading 0 grams. Down here is 1,000. Watch what happens carefully to our spring scale when I pull up. I pull up, the weight is off the table, but my spring scale didn't go down to 1,000. We're going to zoom in and take a closer look. So we've zoomed in and we can see that our spring scale is right at 500 grams. I would say this pulley has made our work easier. In our last setup, it took about 1,000 grams. But with this setup, because we used our pulley differently, we're at 500 grams. If one pulley can make our work easier, it kind of gets me thinking, I wonder if 2 pulleys can make our work even easier. What do you think will happen? So now we have 2 pulleys set up and working together. I have a string attached to my top pulley. It comes down around my bottom pulley, up over the top of this pulley, and now I have my spring scale attached. And now I can pull down and see if this really does make our work easier. Remember, when I had one pulley at the bottom, it was 500 grams. What do you think will happen when I pull down? How much do you think our spring scale will read? We're going to pull down on our spring scale and zoom in and take a closer look so you can see what happens. I pulled down, my weight is off the ground, and now we're going to zoom in to our spring scale. You can see my spring scale is right on 500 grams. So did adding another pulley really make that much of a difference? It didn't, but remember, adding one pulley didn't make much of a difference, but then we used that pulley differently. So I wonder if we add a third pulley but use it a little differently, if that'll make our work easier. So let's try that. So now we have 1, 2, 3 pulleys working together, and try and follow this because I'm going to show you how we set this up. So I have a string that's attached to my 1,000-gram weight. Remember, it's 1,000 grams. The string comes up over top of the first pulley, down around the bottom of the second pulley, back up over top of this third pulley, and now I have my spring scale, so we can make sure to check to see if all of these pulleys working together really does make our work easier. Remember, when we had 2 pulleys working together, it was about 500 grams. It made our work easier. What is it going to be when we have 3 pulleys working together? We're going to pull down and see if our spring scale is working, and then zoom in and take a closer look. I pull down on the spring scale, my weight comes up, and now let's zoom in to see what our spring scale says. Take a look at this. Our spring scale is showing 300 grams. 3 pulleys working together. I took 1,000 gram weight, and now I'm only pulling 300 grams. I would say our work is really easier. I wonder what would happen if we put 4 pulleys or 5 pulleys or 6 pulleys or 7 pulleys all together and had them working together. It would be very complicated to show you. And actually, scientists have designed a pulley system where all these pulleys are put together really closely. It's called a block and tackle, and it's made to make lifting easier. It makes work easier. Simple machines, like pulleys, make work easier. Pulleys are simple machines, and pulleys really are all around us. Cars use pulleys, boats use pulleys, cranes use pulleys. Take a look around you and see if you can find pulleys, but sometimes you might just have to look up in order to find that pulley. If you want to learn more about pulleys and simple machines, take a look at some of our links in the video description. Science is so cool, especially when it makes our work easier. Thanks for watching.